What is going on, Earth 2 novice enthusiasts and everyone in between? Thank you for tuning in. I decided to go live. I might try to go live maybe one more time before the Dubai purchasing starts. We've got a little bit less than 3 hours before Dubai opens up. I'm excited. I'm ready. I've got my coffee. I've got multiple devices ready to go. I've actually connected. I've hardwired my internet connection, so I don't even have to worry about any kind of vulnerabilities with the Wi-Fi. Probably overthinking a little bit of this, but I rather overthink it than underthink it, because I intend to grab up Dubai. I'm going to be spending several $100 easily today. I'm not really going to be keeping track of what I'm spending, to be honest. I'm just going to keep buying. I've got some ideas of where I'm going to be buying, and I wanted to share them with you because, as always, I think it's fun to play together, share strategies. There's plenty to go around, so I don't think there's really any reason to keep it all to myself. But I wanted to start with some information that Shane, the CEO, Shane Isaac, the CEO of Earth 2, has recently come up with. He toyed with us a little bit about 2 days ago, and he posted, I'll read it verbatim. It's very not very descriptive, but it says, "I mean, there are 7 ... Well, let's see ... And then he had 2 maps that were posted of Dubai. It looks like some kind of Earth 2 development map with the UAE, I should say. And as I've mentioned in other videos, I use Dubai and UAE interchangeably, as a lot of people do. But the UAE is really what's going to be unlocked, and that's that whole area. Now, Dubai is obviously a piece of the UAE, and people were like, what is he talking about? There's going to be 7. I saw people speculating about, and I saw people posting videos pretty confident in the fact that he was referring to Easter eggs, because I mentioned check out the Easter egg video if you haven't seen that. But they are going to be having some Easter eggs hidden around Earth 2 for cash prizes, and there's been wild speculation as to what they mean. I see guys in some of the forums and threads thinking that they can determine where the Easter eggs are going to be based on their design. One person went through and they believe they found coordinates, I think, based on the peaks and troughs of the one egg that has the zigzag lines on it, but that doesn't translate or correlate with any of the other egg designs. So I really don't think that that's applicable, but whatever. Rampant speculation. Easter eggs were also thrown into this mix. I think until the Easter eggs are released and found definitively, I think there's going to be a lot of speculation as to what's going on. They'll probably be thrown into anything that has any kind of ambiguity. But in this case, a lot of people were thinking, oh, there are going to be 7 Easter eggs in Dubai or in the UAE, because he's posting maps, mentions 7. We know there's Easter eggs coming. What could that possibly mean? I didn't see that. I didn't really know what to make of it. I figured he was just dropping some hints, and I didn't want to really post anything about it until I saw more, because there's nothing to talk about when it's just some kind of like open riddle like that. So in any case, he has since then come out and said that they've decided to chop up the UAE into 7 areas that will have their own pricing. So this is cool because Dubai is obviously going to be its own area. It's going to skyrocket in price. Some people in some of the threads were like, "Oh man, I wish they did this for the United States." Yes, that could have been interesting. I'm interested to see how this plays out, because like, let's say they did it for the U.S. and we divided the states, so all the states had their own price. Well, this gets into a slippery slope, because now, like, what other countries or areas would we have to then divide into their own prices? And it just gets really messy. And obviously you'd have states like New York probably skyrocket in price, and then you'd have, Kansas and Iowa that would probably still be less than $1 right now, because let's be honest, no offense, Kansas and Iowa, but you're not New York, you're not Florida or California. So all the money is going to be going to those areas based on not only the population, but also, the stuff that's there. People want to be buying the stuff up in Earth 2. So Dubai will be divided this way. So this is going to be an interesting experiment to see how that affects the overall value. Now, he also mentioned oil specifically. So we have been kind of speculating back and forth whether or not there was oil. I was pretty confident that I wasn't really speculating because, as I've mentioned in other videos, one of the developers straight up mentioned oil and used that as a reference. So oil will be in play. So there should be value in all of these areas, but I'm imagining that there's some areas that are probably going to be receiving a significant increase, namely Dubai, significant increase in their price just based on all of the focus that's going to be, swarming there immediately, based on Dubai in the real world being, one of the most expensive cities on the face of the planet, if not the most expensive city on the face of the planet. In any case, that's what's going on. So as far as it applying to your Dubai, your UAE buying strategy, how should you be focusing on this? Well, I am going to be spending some time. I've already spent some time kind of mapping out some areas that I'm going to be focusing my purchases in. I don't want to be spreading it out too much because I don't think it's going to be impossible to get land in Dubai. I don't think it's going to go up that quickly. I think, the towers and things like that, the islands where they've got, the palm trees and all that jazz, I think that stuff will obviously be sought after pretty quickly. But as far as buying within Dubai, I haven't seen, I don't know of any cities. Maybe Manhattan is completely purchased, but even that would surprise me. Manhattan's, I guess, not huge, and the fact that it's on an island does make it a lot easier for it to be completely purchased where every square is bought. But also, you got to keep in mind the price as it goes up, it will start to deter other people. So that will limit your competition naturally. And it will give you, if you are hell-bent on getting yourself some Dubai, it will give you more of an opportunity by that competition being, looking for a better deal somewhere else. I'm going to probably spread around to all of the capitals or the major cities of the 7 different divisions that they plan on making, just to kind of spread around and see. Out of the 7, honestly, I'll probably only be maybe focusing on like 3 to 4 where I'm actually going to be purchasing. Once I feel like I've got a good amount of land, I might spread out to the other ones, but I'm not trying to buy something everywhere. That hasn't been my strategy at all. I've been trying to be more focused and more diligent and have reasons behind why I'm buying, where I'm buying. So if you guys haven't figured out what your strategy is going to be and you do intend on being live when the purchasing opens up in 3 hours and 48 minutes, then I suggest you take the next 3 hours and 48 minutes to start doing some research. And, you might be looking at the big cities, definitely some good advertising dollars going there. I know there are some people who are planning to do some mega cities within the UAE. That's going to be interesting considering the unpredictability of the land grab. I'm going to assume that the mega cities are probably going to be in more desolate, rural, undeveloped areas. So that would make it a lot easier to buy out a mega city map and have everything going along as planned without, people buying in and, not having anything to do with the mega city concept and buying into, potentially mess up the design. If you're not familiar with mega cities, I do have a video in which I'm going to discuss some mega cities. I bought into some mega cities just out of curiosity to see where they develop and what goes on. A lot of people have asked me if I'd like to, create a mega city. I don't know. I don't really have that much foresight and planning. I've got so many other business projects going on that I look at this as I want to be somewhere between, I want to be more on the passive investment end of Earth 2. And I think starting my own mega city would be cool. But to be honest, I don't think I'd be the best at running and planning it. I'd be heavily reliant upon the people I could attract and help me plan things because I would want to do it right. I don't try to do anything half-ass. So yeah, I'm going to be more of a passive investor in Earth 2. I think initially, once it starts taking off, I'll probably become more active. But like I said, I've just got too many things that are demanding my bandwidth, bringing in money right now. My other business projects and consulting and other things I'm learning and studying. So crypto and all the other stuff, as well as my real businesses. So yeah, unfortunately, I probably won't be doing a mega city. If someone wants to collaborate in some way and we want to, combine forces and do a mega city, that'd be cool. I'm totally down with that, and I'll do videos and help promote it. But I feel like my strengths are more. I've always been like a jack of all trades, master of none kind of guy. I see a lot of the guys who are focusing on the mega cities. This is kind of their thing. This is what they really want to do. They're, I'm good at learning constantly with new things and learning how to do videos and shoot videos and cameras and business and software and then writing software, and like I'm all over the place. Whereas, these guys are really, this is their thing. They don't have a lot of other stuff really distracting. Hey, Mohammed, or sorry, Mohammed. We do have people watching. There's, I don't know if you can't see it, but I've got I've got over 10 people watching. I'm on multiple feeds, so maybe where you're watching this, you're not seeing it, but you're watching. But I appreciate that. So yeah, I'm probably going to bounce off here. I've got some stuff to tidy up on. I've got some consulting calls to make with some of my clients, just to touch base. And then I will be shutting everything down. My fiance's out for the day. I've got no distractions. I've got plenty of coffee. I've got backup. So I will be locked in and focused on Dubai, potentially going live. I'm going to see what kind of strain that puts on my bandwidth. I've got a few devices and cameras and things set up here. So I do intend to attempt to go live, but I'm going to see how the lag is with the site. Because as we all know, we're going to be expecting some server delays and server strains on the Earth 2 side. So I obviously want to do what I can to mitigate that kind of stuff on my side. But tune in if you see the alert of me going live. Jump on. We can discuss where we're going to be buying, what we're buying, any difficulties or experiences that we're having, and help each other find some awesome areas. I think a lot of eyes out there seeking and searching. Like I said, there's too much for any of us to buy up everything. So we might as well share the wealth. I'll give you a tip here. You give me a tip there. We'll see what's interesting. Maybe you're not, your strategy might not align with mine, but I'll still let you know what I'm doing, why I'm buying, where I'm buying it. But see, best places to buy in Dubai. It depends on what your strategy is. If you're going for Dubai, I think is going to be great for advertising. So I would be looking at all of the heavily trafficked areas, heavily developed areas where we know there's a lot of bodies in Earth 1, and that'll be the best indicator as to where things will most definitely be in Earth 2. A lot of the future advertising will also be based on stuff we can't predict right now, being not a lot of it, but a good amount of it. Stuff like the mega cities that I mentioned before. Those will be in more rural areas, and in this case, it'll be out in the middle of the desert somewhere. So that would be basically impossible for me to predict unless I was in on the planning of some of these mega cities. So barring having any access to that information, I would say that your best bet is to look at where the biggest, prettiest buildings are, just looking at it from a satellite perspective. I've showed you guys in previous videos how I look at traffic maps and things like that, because I know where there's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of people. You have traffic around malls and attractions and big things like that. So that's just, some of my outside the box kind of thinking. Will the islands off the coast be popular? You bet your ass. I would assume that those the islands, they've got some interesting islands. If you're not aware of Dubai, not familiar with Dubai, they've got some interesting islands that are shaped. They had a project where they were trying to make islands that were shaped like the globe. So they were shaped like these different countries, as if you were able to look at a globe, and a bunch of different man-made islands. They also have some that are in the shape of palm trees. I think those will be bought up pretty quickly. Now, here's the question. Are the Earth 2 developers going to treat those as man-made structures? I don't think so. I think they will consider them as land masses. I think people would be really pissed off if they were to buy up those islands and the Earth 2, map ends up making that just water. But I'll be honest, I'm probably not going to be going to buy any of those things, just because I think there are better opportunities out there. I think a lot of those islands are private neighborhoods. They're not going to be getting a whole lot of AR involvement, immersive AR involvement, but they probably will be really interesting projects in Earth 2. I could see a lot of people building some cool attractions there. If you guys haven't played around with Decentraland, I would definitely go. You could actually have a guest account on Decentraland, and you don't have to sign up and create an account and all that jazz. And you can run around in Decentraland and see what already exists there. And Decentraland is like, it's such a watered down version, as to no discredit to Decentraland, but it is, Earth 2 is going to be, to say Earth 2 is Decentraland on steroids is like an understatement. So in any case, go play with Decentraland, get an idea as to what kind of really cool potential possibilities there are. And I'll do another video on this. I was planning on actually doing a walkthrough video where I go around Decentraland, some cool spots that I've found, and some ideas that it's going to give me for the potential of Earth 2. But, think about, I'm kind of beating that dead horse. Check out my other videos where I tell you like strategies and stuff like that as far as where to buy. But the main idea is where there are people in the real world and where you have reason to believe there's going to be resources, where you have reason to believe people in Earth 2 will be, when they're in the game, where they will be going. So those are the best places to go. Again, mega cities, hard to predict where they're going to be unless you're part of that planning and development. So until you start seeing some pop up or some allocated, and honestly, those guys don't even know what's going on. They probably are, like I said, buying it in more rural areas, so they're able to more accurately predict, okay, like nobody's going to be buying in this area of the desert. Let's buy this massive area up collectively and start, developing it. But aside from being in on that conversation, you're not going to know where they're going to be buying this stuff. They're not going to be buying this stuff in the heart of an area because, number one, it's going to get super expensive. Like I don't think a lot of people are going to be doing mega cities in Dubai, not successfully, because the price is going to skyrocket. If you notice the mega cities, and again, I'll do a video on it, mega cities typically are in these countries that don't have a lot of interest because they want people to be able to buy into them in the future. And if they're too expensive, then people won't be able to buy into them. So they're going to countries that would otherwise not have a lot of interest. Like you don't make a mega city in Manhattan because it costs $50 a square. And now you don't have a lot of people who have interest in spending $50 a square to be a part of your mega city, right? Or at least that's my thought. I haven't seen any successful mega city attempts in any expensive places. So that's got another question. Yeah, I'm probably going to be going live. I don't think it's going to be too taxing on my bandwidth, but if I start seeing some issues where like my purchases aren't going through or something, I might have to kill the feed. But yeah, I do plan on going live. Might go live on my cell phone. I've got my cell phone here. I've actually got a couple of cell phones and I'd be able to go live off of those, but got a MacBook, a laptop, an iPad, and a couple of cell phones ready to go for purchasing or streaming, whatever I need them for. So I'm locked, loaded. I'm going to get to some chores around the house, make some phone calls to some consulting clients, and then I will be probably back on. So make sure your alerts are on. I probably will just be streaming to my new channel, Earth 2 News. The link to that is below. So if you're not watching this on Earth 2 News and you want to be a part of the live Dubai purchasing, go ahead and jump on. If you want to stream with me, I could do a guest thing where I can share an invite link, and you could actually, if you got a camera and you want to jump on and chat with me, I could potentially share an invite link if you have something to say or you want to have a convo. I think I could get up to 10 people on this feed, so we'll see how that goes. If you guys want, haven't done that before, that'd be something new. But other than that, coming up on 20 minutes, I wanted to do 5, but you know, it's typical me. I always find more things to discuss. But yeah, that was some info from Shane. Hopefully that'll help you diversify, because if you start seeing Dubai get too expensive, don't get discouraged. It will probably be more expensive than the other areas in the UAE. And since they've split it up into those 7 different provinces, or I don't know really enough about what those geographic divisions are going to be, but there will be cheaper opportunities for you to buy in. And considering how much oil we've got in this area, just because you're not in downtown Dubai doesn't mean you're not going to be buying some and I'm also wondering, if they're dividing it for price, does that mean that they're also going to be divided for land class? Meaning we will now have 700,000 tiles of class 1 released today instead of just 100,000. So if you're looking for class 1, if you're looking for cheaper land, maybe Dubai isn't where you're going to be wanting to buy. I'm still going to try to get in, but if I see that land being bought up too quickly, I'm going to be jumping to the other provinces and buying them up. You bet your bottom dollar on that. But other than that, I'll let you guys go. No other questions. Rock on. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys are able to implement this to your strategy to make it a little bit better. Spend some time researching where you're going to be buying, and I will see you in about 3.5 hours, or 2.5 hours now. Yeah, 2.5 hours. I was wrong the whole time. I was off an hour. Have a good one.